Hello everybody, I am in Boston. It's really cold here and I wish I was back with you guys because going to conferences in the middle of the semester is not fun. But I still need to get you ready for the exam, so I wanted to go over with you the quiz, which a large part is on the exam. So let me start with the first questions right here. So here people were confused by what to put in the examples. I actually have a video that's called Laws of Exponents and Log Laws Bundled as One, and in there I have examples. So here's, for example, what we call an example of the first law A written down. Make sure that you have a decent example. For example, some people had used the number 1 in one of their examples. 1 raised to any power is 1, so that's not a good example, and I unfortunately will take off points for that. The other thing people had incorrect was on D. What is the example of using this numerical piece in order to make a log example? Well, I gave an example in the notes on YouTube already where I used this as an example. So for example, I know that 10 squared is 100 and log base 10 of 100 is 2. So this tells me if I have something in terms of a log, like log base x of a plus b is equal to d, I can convert this log equation into an exponential equation by looking at the numbers here. For example, the little 10 here in the log base 10 is the same as the little x here. So the x goes where the 10 goes in the exponential. Right here's the base. The 2 on this side is equivalent to the d on this side. The 2 goes in the exponent, so therefore I can take this d and put it in the exponent. So it tells me the location or the transfer of where the letters go, where the numbers used to be, on something that's checkable on my calculator. So please text me if you have any questions of how that works. The second group of questions, a couple of you forgot to circle the places. I didn't put the full circle. Almost everybody knows the full circle. Some of you forgot some of the signs, but again, you should go review that. But here, you look here, I have 1/2 here and 1/2 here circled because it's the x component. So don't forget to circle on the unit circle that the location as it asks you to inside, and it also is there in the rubric. So let me move to this one here. I think the other ones that you already did. Okay, so this one, nobody had problems actually getting the equation, which everybody was afraid of. So that's the equation, and then you want a graph. So notice here I've clearly marked that this 2 is the root, and I've clearly marked and labeled with numbers where the locations were. So you have to numerically label your axes, otherwise I don't know that you understand what you're getting on your screen, what it means, and how to translate that to finding your solution. So that's the important thing here on this problem, is making sure you can find the answer. The same thing goes for the one with the asymptotes. So this is what the graph looks like with the asymptotes. The asymptote is this gap right here. So you can't actually find the gap with your trace button, but you can get pretty close, or you can look at it an eyeball and say, well, it's somewhere close to the left of 0. So that's what I'm looking for there. And this one, a lot of you got off, and I was a little bit kind in my grading, but please know that I cannot always give you those points. I want to give you warning that I'm looking for this graph translated onto your paper, and then you to look at that and go, oh, it's somewhere close to 0. If I see algebra here finding the asymptote, or there's no explanation but you have the exact asymptote, I will take off full points, because that means that you didn't look at the graph and get the asymptotes. We skipped all the sections on looking at graphs and figuring things out about graphs, because for me, I felt like it was more important for you to know how to use your calculator and get the graph information from your calculator. So I'm bundling all of that by something that I feel might be more useful for you. So that's the point of this. I'm not just taking off points because I dislike you or want to make up a rule that has no meaning. I really have a reason for doing this. So here, you want to look and zero in on the roots. Well, I have to change the window to see that. If you gave me your original window here, I took off full points. I'm looking for you to zoom in and change your windows and give me the new windows here of what you had to change. So if you just wrote the default windows here again, you didn't get points for that. You want to zero in and actually see this as you see right here. And then with the trace button, you can actually find the roots. Some of you actually put decimals and said looks like it's close to 2. That's perfect. That's all I'm looking for there. And then all the algebra. And this was clearly explained in the video on how to find asymptotes. And most of you actually got the algebra right, which is, really interesting. If you're able to get the routine part of this correct, but you're not able to figure it out from looking at your graph, that's really, really distressing, because it means that this is something that's a procedure, you're just doing monkey see, monkey do, but you have no idea what the connection is to the graph, so it's pretty useless. It means that you're just coming up here, paying for the class, parking, and learning something completely useless, so that's not of interest to me or to you really in the long run. So let's make sure that we connect the dots. Most of you did get this correct. The grades are actually pretty high. I'm just looking at the ones that did get it wrong to correct that and make sure they got it right. There are some of you that still have unfamiliarity with the calculator. You just have to play around with it and make sure you know how to do it. The best way is to ask in class for someone to help you that does know how to use their calculator. So don't be shy, lean on over, stare at other people's grades, and see if they got it right. If they got this right, then ask their help for the calculator. And coming in on the day of Wednesday and not having batteries or not having your calculator is going to be an automatic 0. You need to have your calculator. You're in a pre-calc course. It's absolutely got to be used. That was it. I think there was no other problems on here. You're free to work with each other, compare your scores. You can text me and ask questions. I'm actually around and available if you need me to answer anything. So please, good luck. Your quizzes are outside my door in a box that says pre-calculus. Feel free for picking them up, and good luck.